Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how we love to really dig into those topics you send our way?
Absolutely.
And today's deep dive is something I think we can all relate to.
For sure.
Finding that sweet spot between being we and being me in relationships.
Right.
Like how do you stay true to yourself while still building a strong connection with someone else?
It's a classic.
Totally. And you sent us this really cool outline for a podcast episode called Together Yet Unique.
Ooh, I like that title.
Right. Catchy. And we thought it'd be awesome to deep dive into the first episode, the foundation of individuality.
Nice.
I mean, who doesn't need a solid foundation?
Exactly.
And get this, I was reading through the notes you sent, and there's actually research that shows keeping your own sense of self can actually make your relationship stronger.
That's so interesting. It kind of goes against what we're often told, doesn't it? Like we should be merging into this one unit.
Right. But that can be where things get a little tricky.
Totally.
Because we're not talking about being selfish.
Not at all. It's more like you're two whole trees growing next to each other.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Right. Each tree needs its own roots, its own space to grow.
But they're also connected, part of the same ecosystem.
Exactly. And that's how you get this beautiful, thriving forest instead of just a bunch of tangled branches.
Okay, so how do we actually make that two trees thing work in real life?
Well, the outline really emphasizes communication.
Which makes sense, right?
Right. Like
Yeah.
you got to make sure you're both on the same page.
Totally. And one thing it mentions is having these regular relationship temperature checks.
Ah, I love that idea.
Me too.
Yeah.
So what exactly does that look like? Are we talking like a formal sit-down meeting every week?
Not necessarily. It's more about just checking in with each other maybe once a week or so.
Okay.
Just having an open and honest conversation like, hey, how are you feeling? Is anything bothering you?
Yeah.
Is there anything you're excited about that you want to share? Just a way to make sure you're both feeling heard and understood.
So it's like a casual check-in, not an interrogation.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be this big, heavy thing.
I like that. And then the outline also talks about the importance of using I statements.
Oh, yes. That's huge.
Huge. Why is that so important?
Well, because it takes the blame out of the equation.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Like instead of saying you always leave your clothes on the floor.
Which, let's be real, can cause some arguments.
Oh, absolutely. But if you say, I feel frustrated when clothes are left on the floor, it shifts the focus to how you're feeling without attacking the other person.
That's so smart. It's like a communication hack.
Totally. And it can really help to prevent resentment from building up.
Right, because then it's not about blaming each other. It's about understanding each other's needs.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about communication. What about supporting each other's passions?
Yes. This is so important for maintaining that individuality within a relationship.
So how do we do that?
Well, the outline gives some really great examples.
Oh, lay it on me.
Like attending your partner's events, even if it's not something you're personally super interested in.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big one.
Right. Or maybe trying new activities together, things that your partner's passionate about.
So even if you're not into, like, say, underwater basket weaving,
Exactly. You're willing to give it a shot.
just to show your support.
Right. It's about being present and engaged in their world.
I love that.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a balance, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we make sure we don't lose ourselves in the process of supporting our partner's passions?
That's where boundaries come in.
The B word?
I know, right? It can feel scary, but it's crucial
Why is that?
because it's not selfish to have boundaries.
Okay, wait, hold on. I need to write that down. Boundaries are not selfish.
Not at all. They're actually a way of protecting yourself and making sure you have the space you need to thrive.
Okay, that makes sense.
Think about it like this. When you take time for yourself, whether it's exercising, reading, meditating, whatever fills your cup,
Yeah.
you're actually recharging so that you can bring your best self to the relationship.
Ooh, I love that. It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So boundaries are basically like self-care for the relationship.
I love that way of putting it. And the outline even suggests, actually scheduling in specific me time each week.
Like putting in your calendar.
Yes. And making sure you both respect each other's space during that time.
So no barging in on someone's solo dance party.
Exactly.
Got it. But what about when those individual passions we've been talking about actually lead to personal growth, and then that growth creates a sense of distance in the relationship.
That's such a common challenge.
Right.
And the outline talks about this too.
If you're good, because I was starting to wonder.
And it encourages couples to actually lean into those feelings of distance.
Instead of just pretending everything's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have those open and honest conversations, acknowledge the changes that are happening, and find new common goals that respect both people's growth.
So it's like you're acknowledging that you've both evolved and figuring out how to map a new path together.
Yes. And that path might look different than the one you started on.
Because you're different people now.
Right.
Okay. And I love how the outline ends on this really positive note, talking about celebrating each other's differences.
Ah, that's my favorite part.
Right. Like remembering why you fell in love with this person in the first place.
And all the unique things they bring to your life.
And the outline even has these fun suggestions.
Oh, man.
Like creating a celebration wall where you display each other's achievements no matter how big or small.
I love that. Like a relationship vision board.
Totally.
Right.
Or planning themed date nights based on each other's interests.
Ooh, that's fun.
Right. It's all about making each other feel seen and appreciated for who you are as individuals.
And when you do that, it strengthens the bond between you.
So it's not just about tolerating each other's differences, it's about actually celebrating them.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if that's so important in romantic relationships. Could we apply that same principle to other areas of our lives?
Well, I like where you're going with this.
Right. Like our friendships, our work, even our relationship with ourselves.
Ooh, that's a deep thought for everyone to chew on. So the big takeaway here is that embracing your own unique self, it's not just good for you. It's good for your relationships, too.
It's a win-win.
Totally. Thanks for diving deep with me today.
My pleasure. Always fun to chat with you.
And thanks to all of you for listening, and keep those deep dive suggestions coming.
We love hearing from you.
Until next time, stay curious.
And stay true to yourselves.
Bye, everyone.
See ya, see ya.